Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Sunday today. It is time for our WrestleMania Night 1 review. That's right, we're getting it to you right after the show has aired last night, so we're going to get it to you today. Tomorrow it's Night 2. Then we're going to get Multiverse and we're going to get Death Vegas Invitational. We may even get Stardom sometime if we
Yeah, if
find it.
it ever shows up.
If it ever shows up. Apparently Tekla made her return.
Listen, can we just talk about that? I know we're
Sure.
talking about WrestleMania here. I'm trying to fix my camera. But yeah, it doesn't want to work. So,
Yep.
anyways, it's odd to me that you can't watch Stardom,
Mm-hmm.
even if you have the Stardom service, you can't watch the
Till a
new
month later.
pay-per-views until a month later.
Yeah. And they don't air it on Triller.
So what's the point? And also, you need a translator program, which obviously that's not hard to do because
Yeah.
there's no button on the Stardom app, which is the same as the New Japan app, to switch it to English.
Yeah, if you're opening the app in Chrome, it auto translates. Oh, we lost you.
That's me. That's me.
Yep. Okay.
It's so silly goose to me that they don't have that. They're the biggest women's promotion in the world
Yeah.
by
And
probably
you
a
can
long
find
shot.
yeah, and you can find Tokyo Joshi easily
Yeah,
on the
no
No app.
problem. Click it, boom, it's on. I can watch Marigold, boom, it's on. I can watch Ice Ribbon Princess, boom, it's on my thing. Two
Yeah.
seconds. And
Because
by the way,
that's on Russell Universe too, isn't it?
yeah, I did. There's also another one, another women's company. I don't know what it is.
Mm.
Maybe it's the whichever the Regina D Wave.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't remember what that company's called.
Actress or
I don't know.
something.
I don't think we
Yeah.
have access. I don't think we have access to that. That's another big company too.
Yeah.
Anyways, the AEW app is the app that New Japan uses. I tested it the other day. I opened it and you could do it because my buddy was telling me apparently if you pay, you don't have to pay for the service, but you can have the app in Canada and you can buy the pay-per-views only
Okay. The
through
New
it.
Japan app.
No, through the AEW's new
Right.
app. But
Which
they're
uses
they're $5 more expensive than Amazon.
I'd rather get it through Amazon then.
Yeah, me too. Anyways, we're talking about
Wrestle
WWE.
WrestleMania, folks. WrestleMania, folks.
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania, guys. So we will start off with the opening match. It is the Usos and LA Knight versus The Vision and I Show Speed. What first thing I noticed is Paul Heyman has disassociated himself from this group.
Okay, so here's my thing. I think he originally thought this was a really good idea. I don't think he's completely gone from it, but I think he thought he this was a really good idea. Let me get in on it. And now it's starting to feel like they just leveraged him for popularity and to have a thing over Seth Rollins later, and now he's
Right.
just done
But I
with it.
mean, his three top guys from the Vision are out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, were out. It was Seth, right? Braun Breaker's out, and Bronson Reed is out. And arguably, that was the original group.
Yeah, it's I feel like it was they leveraged his who he is to make the group popular
Yeah.
and to now have a thing over Seth Rollins so later there can be a feud somehow like you know what I
Somewhere. Well,
mean?
we'll talk about that later because JJ called something. I was hanging out with Pietro, JJ, and Fab last night. So,
Do you watch it together?
yeah.
Okay, so that's good. So we both had group settings.
Yeah.
Um I feel like this match was okay. It was okay.
Yeah, it
It,
was
it was
fine. It wasn't anything offensive. It's your
it
opening
just
match.
existed. It felt like what we would normally see on New Japan or AEW or TNA as a pre-show match.
Yeah, like a tag match, a random
Yeah,
six person. Yeah.
just like a random pre-show match.
Yeah.
And the thing I didn't like about it was I Show Speed's big move was literally just Logan Paul's move.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you
And
release
that didn't even
Stride?
happen. That didn't even happen during the match.
No,
That was
and
all
it's like
post match.
and he does so the match is just a match. It
Yeah.
is what it is. I thought LA Knight had a couple decent spots where
He
he
didn't
showed
botch.
he
Usually
showed
he
like
botches.
power, which is a
Yeah.
weird thing because he's not a guy that you usually like
His power moves.
the
Yeah.
power move. Like he at one point he ripped Logan Paul from outside the ring over the top rope, and
Hmm.
it was like it looked
But that's
really
also,
nice.
you got to also credit Logan Paul for having that agility.
Yes, but you don't normally see the a move set used by a guy like
Yeah.
him as like being a big power guy. That's what
Yeah.
Obafemi do, right?
Yeah.
Usually, Vince
When he
McMahon would have been
grabs
like,
by
"You
the,
don't
yeah, when
do
he
power
grabs you.
moves. You're gonna
Yeah.
fly on top rope."
But yeah, but it
Um,
was all to hype up the crowd. So what happens is I Show Speed costs Austin Theory the match. He gets pinned by LA Knight. And after the match, Logan Paul is blaming him for the loss, I guess. And the baby faces come back and help I Show Speed take out Logan Paul.
it's very caricature-y. It's very
And
cartoonish.
we almost
It's
called this to the point. I said I Show Speed was going to turn on him, but in the end, it still was him costing them the match.
well, he did turn on them,
Yeah,
and it was like I said, it was very cartoony. It was very childish.
yeah.
This felt like,
It was for the crowd because then they all started going yeet after,
but this is
right?
the thing, right? When I got, and I'm going to make a big point here. The reaction for the Yeet thing was very high. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, it
The
was huge. It was a
ISO
huge
speed and
pop.
Logan Paul was a pretty big pop. I want to come back to this later because I think this is a big point of like the night. But he does the frog splash. It looks cool, blah, 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 whatever. The problem I have with this match is, as fine as it was, when we get to that end point, when they go pick up ISO speed off the ground, you can feel this sort of corporate, like it's a commercial
Yeah,
thing because ISO speed looked like I've never done this before, so that hurt. Like you could see he was like, I don't
yeah.
want to get up. They literally pick him up off the ground, bring him in the ring, and hold him up like he's a trophy.
Hmm.
Buy our product. Look, it's ISO speed, and it became like this 1 minute thing of like, look, ISO
That's, you know
speed.
what?
Look at
That's
him.
another thing. This is the most commercialized WrestleMania I have ever seen.
It was almost embarrassing to a point.
Like to the point, when LA Knight's entrance with the Ram truck and it's advertising for Ram, and there's like it was
I've
bad.
never been so happy that I waited 30 minutes to start watching this
Yeah.
because the commercials were like out of control.
Yep.
We made a very big point of anytime somebody got up, we paused it so that way we would have more room to fast forward later
Yeah.
because we didn't
Yeah.
want to have to sit through any of those commercials because it was crazy. But yeah,
Yeah.
this match ended up feeling less like the match and more just like a please buy tickets thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't, it bothered me a little bit.
Yeah. This was also the first two matches of this card were also free on ESPN.
Oh, that's why they said that. I was thinking in my head, why are they telling me now I have to switch over to another thing?
Yeah, because if you wanted to watch the rest of it, you had to go to
So that's why they considered these pre-show matches, even though they
yes,
weren't pre-show
right.
matches.
Even though they
Hmm.
had a 2 hour pre-show with no matches earlier.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So with that, our second free match is Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre in an unsanctioned match. Now I'm thinking unsanctioned match, you know, AEW's unsanctioned match is something completely different.
I think, okay, so I want to make a big point. I'm not even going to compare AEW. Having watched Death Vegas like
Hmm.
2 hours before watching
Oh
this,
yeah.
it's like what like and that we're going to talk about that in that show. There are some stuff
Yeah.
that happened where I was like, I can't watch this. But
Yeah.
and then going to watch this felt like Sesame Street had a hardcore match.
Yeah,
And I don't
right?
want to take away because this match quality
The
wasn't
quality was
terrible.
good. Yeah, the
It's
quality of
first
the
of all,
match was good.
the
I was
matches
entertained.
every match on the show was way criminally too short.
Yes.
Um,
I
for
got a tally.
I need and I was talking to Danny about this for a while, and I feel really bad for him that this match happened because he's a huge, probably the biggest Drew
Drew
McIntyre fan
McIntyre
that any
fan?
of us
Yep.
know.
But we
Um,
like Drew too. Like
yeah,
it's not
but
like we
he's
don't
like on a no, he's on a
a
different level.
different
This is
level.
his guy. This is like 1980s Hulk Hogan for him.
Okay.
Okay, and he has like inside scoops on it because he spends all day
Hmm.
like in the Drew community. The point of this match becoming the unsanctioned match that it was to injure Drew so they could write him off TV to film a show.
To go
But
film
then
Highlander.
it was leaked that he doesn't need the time off to film it. They've actually scheduled it in so he can fit it in with his WWE schedule.
Yep.
So now, having made this a hardcore match, to write him off, then not writing him off, and then having it be a hardcore match and it come out so soft the way that it felt, nobody bled.
Yeah.
And
Because it was free.
but you don't need to. Not saying
No.
you need to, but then in the main event, I'm just gonna say this: Randy Orton bleeds
Yep.
from literally. He doesn't even get hit in the head
No, he
in the
blades. They
action.
both bladed.
But listen, my point is, in the move that caused him to bleed, he didn't get hit in the head. Why would you be bleeding?
Yeah. Like we
But
watching the Death Vegas show, like compared
I,
to and Drew's gouging him with the wrench and he's not even bleeding.
And it's like, it's not like, once again, not that this match was bad, but having that stipulation and then going so soft on it on the biggest stage felt like what is the point of you watching a
Don't
storyline?
call it unsanctioned then. Just call it a street fight.
Don't even call it anything. Make it just a regular match, because you
Falls count anywhere.
adding hardcore stipulation to the match and then having such a soft core match is not
Yeah.
favorable to people watching, that are especially the ones that are not WWE fans. And I think a lot of this, people who have Netflix have access now. So especially if you're not going to put on the best possible event you
Mm-hmm.
can, you're attracting people who watch other wrestling to be like, well, I'll just tune in. It's on Netflix. Or random people at home, like my sister and her husband, being
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, it's on Netflix. It's WrestleMania. Let's just click it. And
Let's
then
just
being like,
watch it.
what
Like
am I watching?
compared to like the match that you haven't watched Multiverse yet, but Paul Hauser and QT Marshall.
Yeah, and I mean, Paul Hauser kind of tries to go all out, so I'll give
Yeah.
him that. But it's like, if you were just tuning into uh, New Japan and you saw Kenny Omega versus Okada, you'd be like, "Oh my God, what am I watching?" Which is
Yeah.
literally the reason I started watching wrestling again, because I was like, "I can't believe I'm watching this." But you tune in and you see a
Drew
40-minute
McIntyre.
entrance by uh, Liv Morgan. Sorry, I said Liz, and it's like, why are you watching this?
Yeah.
Anyways, digressing from the point,
Yeah. Fatu does get the win here.
I
They're
think
writing Drew off TV, even though they don't need to write him off now.
they're not writing him off. That's the thing. So what was the point of doing this?
So the feud continues then.
I don't know if the feud continues,
I
but
don't think
like,
so because Fatu got the win. The babyface got the win. It's over.
it's a strange blow off for two guys that we both really like, and it's
Yeah.
not a poorly wrestled match. Just the stipulation made it feel like soft.
Yeah. That's exactly it. The booking of it. Yeah. So with that, our next match is a fatal four-way tag team match. We get Charlotte Flair and Bliss. We get Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. I like both of them because they're both wearing matching outfits. They you know what I mean? Like
Feel
tag
like a
teams,
tag team.
they feel like a tag team. Then we get the Irresistible Forces that have a white version of Demolition's
Which was
masks.
awesome.
I like that.
And by the
And
way, shout out
sh-
to Nia Jax for losing so
so
much
much
weight.
weight. Yep,
That's
Ozempic must
crazy.
be
I didn't
working.
even know it was her at first.
Yeah,
We were like, who's these two people coming out? And then I'm like,
yeah,
oh, that must be Nia Jax.
yeah. Shout out to her. Yeah, she good job on her. Like, congratulations for that. Like, give her that.
I'm going to be
And
honest, I think a lot of her wrestling was held back by her physical incapabilities.
yeah,
Not saying
because
she's
she
great.
didn't look bad in this
No.
match.
But she's been wrestling long enough that she should have been better than she was.
Yeah. And then we get Brie and Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella cannot wrestle tonight. So, to no one's surprise, we get Paige.
And I had minimal mild arguments with friends online that are
Hmm.
WWE people that were like, um it's we had a storyline that we thought was excellent where she would come in at the AJ Lee match.
Yep.
Now you've erased that story, and the people I was with who are also
Which
WWE
we called
fans,
Paige coming back either Mania or after
yeah,
Mania, right after, which we
the,
called
the
that.
people I was with were saying that WWE has, and I don't know this for sure because I don't watch enough WWE, has this weird thing where they don't like to really remember the past. So that's probably why they avoided doing the AJ Lee thing
Mm.
to like
Well,
go,
that's why Paige was nowhere for 4 years, right?
yeah, it's 8 years. Oh, she's just been disappearing, man. Anyways,
Like the
it's
CM Punk package. Like, oh, 2012, CM Punk leaves WWE. 2023, CM Punk. Well, what happened
I
in.
read an article. Do you want to know what the article
Mm.
said? Paige, who hasn't wrestled in 8 years,
She wrestled a year ago, less than a year
she
ago.
was wrestling for like 3 years in AEW.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's just funny that like the way that they were probably told that they had to word it like that or
Yeah.
something. Irregardless,
Well, which is funny because in that page, going back to that promo we were saying about CM Punk, they showed his Ring of Honor stuff, but they won't show AEW. That's
yeah, and then
or even
it's
his UFC
fine.
stuff.
You don't have to, right? But
But
it's like
still, at least UFC, it's TKO. You want to advertise that, right?
you had Edge and Christian
Hmm.
when we were watching the match at AEW. It showed their pictures with the WWE belts, the tag belts. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, you weren't with me. I was like, "Oh, look, the WWE tag belts."
Yeah,
Anyway,
but I did notice
anywho,
that. Yeah. Going back to this match.
it's
It
it
wasn't as clustery as I was expecting it to be.
it
It was
wasn't,
actually a decently wrestled match.
and I saw a lot of really good ring work
Hmm.
from Lyra and Bailey, and it kind of
Yes.
made me sad that Bailey is still stuck in
And
WWE.
shout out to Bailey too, because Bailey slimmed down a bit too.
Yeah, but Bailey's always been like a pretty good shape style
Yeah.
wrestler. Like she stays physically fit. And Lyra's a talent in the ring that is undeniable. Lash Legend
Hmm.
sucks. Nia looked pretty decent.
Yeah.
Paige
Nia
and
was definitely controlling the movement of this whole match.
yeah, Paige and Bella, which we got the worst of the two Bella twins,
Hmm.
both did not look good, but I don't expect them to look good because they were never actually good wrestlers.
Yep.
Okay. And also, I'm
Fight
not
us
trying
in
to
the
be
comments.
I'm not trying to be like dickish
No.
about it, like when I say this, but Saraya will go so skinny in coming out. Her legs
Yeah.
were so thin. I was like, what happened? Like
Yeah.
she looks like she lost like 15 pounds and she was already skinny.
Skinny. Yeah.
Who was the other team in this match?
Charlotte and Bliss.
So they're a
They did
real tag
nothing.
team. They didn't do anything. Bliss got beat up for most of the match. She
Yeah.
was like the fodder for the match. They're a real tag team.
Yep.
Which, by the way, for I just noticed this that for the third time, Charlotte Flair looks like a completely different person in her
Yep.
face. Like nothing at all like the
She's
last.
looking completely. Yeah.
Anyway, she kind of looks like she went to a plastic surgeon and said, "Make me look like Chelsea Green." Um, they should have did better. They didn't. I think the ending to this match was criminal.
Okay. So let's go. Let's go right to the ending. Paige comes out to a huge pop. It makes them baby faces, and then Nikki goes and does a heel move with the crutch.
And then you tag team championed not the people you wanted to tag team champion, but you still pulled the trigger out of fear that if you didn't do it, you weren't going to please the crowd,
Yeah.
which is nuts to me.
This should have gone to Bailey and Lyra.
You're telling me you couldn't have the other Bella twin injured. I don't know any of their names. They're just
Nikki
existing
was the
people.
injured. Brie is
They're
the
just
worst.
human people to me.
Yeah.
Standing on the apron, never to get tagged in and just pretend she wasn't hurt. You could have just had the other one win.
Yeah.
Or you could have had her be like, "I'm gonna wrestle anyways," and then use her crutch as
Yeah.
a thing,
As a crutch.
literally. And they
Yeah.
won anyways, not because Paige wrestled well, because they cheated. And then you could have had Paige, and it's like I'm arguing a point for something that
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna watch. But you have a set up, beautiful, real storyline that's
Hmm.
historical, and instead you did this for no reason at all. When
Other
you
than
have
to change.
Lyra and Bailey,
You know what this is setting up? This is going to set up when Nikki's healthy again. They're going to fight. They're going to fight over who gets the belt,
yeah,
or
and
or they're going to freebird it.
you could have did it later anyways.
Yes.
You
But
didn't
they're
need to
gonna.
do it
I think
now.
they're gonna freebird this belt, and then we're just gonna forget that Paige was part of this.
Did the you watch this match? Did the match suck?
No, not at all.
It might have like so far to this point, the matches are pretty slow paced.
Slow paced, but and they're short, but the entertainment factor was there.
It exists.
Yeah, yeah,
I just
yeah. I don't agree with this finish either because if you're gonna put why even bother? Like
why
why?
like exactly the first match. There's no stakes in it. The second match, you just tell us you don't like Drew because he's irrelevant in this company.
Yeah,
This match, you had three real tag teams, and you picked to give it to the
the old
nostalgia
women.
bait when you didn't. You could have still gave it to them later, and
It
for a
was to get
cheap
that.
pop.
Yeah, if it
Okay,
was for a cheap pop.
I want to point this out now that we've arrived at this point.
Hmm.
Except for the woo that they gave and the pop for Paige when she came out. So the woo for Charlotte Flair and
Hmm.
the pop for Paige.
It was quiet.
Up until this point, no one has made noise for any of the people entering the ring. Drew and Solo was both quiet.
Yeah,
There was not even a cricket noise in the crowd when Alexa Bliss came out. Like
yeah,
zero.
yeah.
And it's like this is what you're pricing out your true fans. And we've talked about this
But
before.
because a lot of these were just because they were having trouble selling tickets, a lot of these tickets were probably given away.
They said that there was so also something that I want to point out for all the people, and this is not even in defense of, this is just to make a point. All the people who talk crap about Wednesday night and Saturday night weekly TV shows for AEW and them having moving everybody from the cam side to or the hard cam side to the cam side. They
Mm-hmm.
did it here and
Yep.
they refused to turn the camera ever past that point. If
Yep.
you watch it, every time they hit that ring post, they never went more left. And anytime they were on the ring post on the right, they never
They
went
never
more
went more
right.
to the right.
There
Yeah.
was people there because they show you the
Yeah.
zoom out video at one point, but there's a lot of empty seats.
And we'll
Even
get to that when they announce the
on the
attendance.
hard cam side, the top row had three
Hmm.
less sections blacked out than
Yeah.
on the right side.
Yep.
So, and it's like I just want to point out, you can't talk shit about a way smaller company's weekly
Hmm.
show, and then you put on the biggest show in all of wrestling that exists in the history of wrestling, and people don't show up to your show, and then you're
Yeah.
gonna pretend like it's your everything's okay.
Everything is awesome.
Continue.
Right. But with that, our we do get new champs, which was I don't think this was the right call at all.
No,
Um, and you're supposed to make them baby faces, and they do heel moves to win. So I don't get that. With that, our next match is AJ Lee defending the Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch, and the outcome of the previous match I think affected the outcome of this match.
100%, 100%,
And
and
this match was not very good. The best part of this match is the interactions between Becky Lynch and the referee.
so this is something I wanted to mention. They talk about it on commentary, and you see it in the ring. If there is some sort of personal, like wrestling kayfabe issue between the referee and one of the wrestlers, why would you keep putting the same referee into the match? Does that make any sense at all?
They're trying to do that like the way Jericho is with Aubrey Edwards.
Yes, but Jericho never blames Aubrey Edwards for the reason that he loses matches. They just
No.
have like a little beef with each other when they're wrestling.
And that's kayfabe too, right? So
100%. He's just comfortable working with her. That's why
yeah,
they
he
always.
likes working with her. Yeah.
But it's like if you're gonna have a kayfabe storyline about how the referee and the wrestler can't work together, why would you do it?
Yeah. Put a
It's
different referee in there.
I understand
You
from
know
the
what I would
point
have
of
preferred then?
storytelling.
If
Yeah,
that were the case, have a different referee in the match, do a ref bump, and have her come in as a replacement ref.
yeah. If you're gonna tell storyline stuff, like I see exactly what you just said, I get it.
Hmm.
But from logical standpoint, why are you treating me like I'm 2 years old? Like this
Yeah.
is like stuff for 8-year-olds.
Yeah. It was poor booking.
And this match was genuinely bad. This was a bad match. It
Yeah.
was boring. It was so boring.
And and we're already like 2 hours in, and we've had what 16, 26, 30, 40 minutes of wrestling 2 hours in.
Well, I sent you the graphic. Hold on. I will open it and I will tell you the details.
Would you send it to Instagram or to my
Yeah.
texting?
So in this event, there was 98 minutes of wrestling,
Hmm.
61 minutes of entrances, and 57 minutes of commercials in 4 hours.
Yep.
Well, just over an hour and a half of wrestling in a four during
In
like
a 4 hour
about a
show.
4 hour show.
If this were AEW, there'd be like 20
There
matches.
never would have been a break,
No.
except
Would've
like
been-
maybe clean
They
up
would
the
have fit
floor.
all the matches on night one and night two on this one card.
I don't know about that, but it would have been 6 hours. But yeah,
No,
and
they
I
would
would
have because 7 matches and 6 matches. If you take those 2 matches and move them to the pre-show,
yeah. I mean, an AEW show runs about 5 hours, and
yeah,
it would be nonstop wrestling for 5 hours.
yeah. So,
And it's like
but
Japan would have been the same thing, except that you do get that 1 hour intermission in between,
in between, yeah,
which I think is favorable to the wrestlers because you don't have to watch people walking out during your match,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Very
Like
true.
AEW always has that because there's always one women's match on every show where everybody just gets up and goes
And
to
one
the
thing
bathroom.
I've noticed too. I watched Death Vegas and I've watched the MLP show. Both those shows were just under 2.5 hours.
Yeah, they're managing the match length a little
Yeah.
more precise than like AEW or Japan does. But I mean,
And then the outcome, Becky Lynch wins. Why? She's now a 4-time Intercontinental Champion. Why? Is there nobody else in this goddamn division?
no, because we have to keep giving Becky Lynch whatever she wants. Wait till she transfers over to start winning the US belt.
But why? I don't understand. Like this is a TKO. Like this is all TKO. Has to be.
It is 100%. You can't watch The absolute listen, I know people are very in love with this era, but the absolute garbage that was from Ruthless Aggression until the Triple H Renaissance
Yeah.
is just doo-doo butter to me. Like I
Yeah.
try to go back, there's good matches,
Oh,
like
you
there's Kurt
can't.
Angle
You
stuff and Eddie
cannot.
Guerrero
Yeah.
stuff, but
The
like
even some of the
generally
Brock Lesnar
it's
stuff, the Edge and
it's
Christian
like
stuff.
it's like it starts off as like this crazy edgelord stuff where they just think that they're so cool, but no one would ever think that stuff is
Yeah.
cool, and then becomes like for family.
Yeah.
And then,
When we get to the end of the show, I'll give my final
but
thoughts on
Triple
what we
H
think. But yeah.
came in,
Hmm.
showed what were capable
Yeah.
of doing.
Then TKO just said,
TKO came in, and it just became it went back to the Vince McMahon era of just
Yeah,
like
and
Becky Lynch.
with more advertising.
Yeah, with more advertising.
So Triple H basically his hands are tied, and they're basically, I think what they're trying to do is force him out.
If you watch the growth of what they were doing, yes, it took way too long, but from Cody winning the belt and moving Roman Reigns out
Hmm.
to all of a sudden TKO was like, no, Roman Reigns got to go back for the title.
Yeah.
And the problem is, and it's I'm not even gonna say this in a hateful way, but these guys at the top in WWE are very enamored with the level of fame that they have.
Yeah.
Like if a Becky Lynch got cut, she wouldn't just go wrestle in Japan to show that she still has it like a Christian
No,
or a Chris
she'd
Jericho would
retire.
do. She would just retire because if she can't have that fame, there's no point in being a wrestler. And
Yeah.
those guys come in like Roman Reigns, like I demand to be the top of the guy because I'm not used to being.
And it just so happens that his cousin is running part of
Yeah, but
TKO.
it's more so that like it's not. I'm not just throwing shade at him. Like Cody will never let himself drop back down to an intercontinental belt
No.
because he's so enamored with how popular he is now. He can't fathom being lower than that.
And we'll talk about that when we get to the main
Right. And it's
event.
like,
But
why are we forcing them? We don't
yeah,
need Roman Reigns at all.
no, we don't.
There was so
It,
much effort put into
it's so bad that
establishing
when you
other
would rather
people.
have CM Punk at the top than Roman Reigns.
But that's another thing, right? Like
But
this,
he at least CM Punk, the crowd's behind him and he sells merch.
yeah, but so does Roman Reigns.
Not as much as CM Punk does
Debatable, master
because he's right
debatable.
there. General Zod.
I would say if you look at the body of work that they've had in their career, the early WWE, early to mid WWE Punk and Ring of Honor Punk is unlimitedly fantastic.
Yes.
And his matches, for the most part, in the beginning in AEW were pretty good.
Yeah.
And the one promo he cut with MJF was excellent.
Yeah. But moving
Roman
on,
Reigns never did any of those things.
we get Gunther versus Seth Rollins.
Excellent match. Fucking compared to what I've been watching all night.
Watching this was, but notice how they put Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins back to back, so this way they can just the way they can just leave right after the matches.
Yeah, and also I have to say, in terms of in-ring storytelling, this was kind of a mess
Yeah,
because if Gunther is literally choking out all-time legends in 10 seconds with a chokehold, how did you survive 1 minute? And then at the
because
end,
he's
when
younger and more, he has more stamina. I don't know.
no, and then at the end when Gunther does do it,
It's
ish,
through outside
shenanigan,
shenanigan buffoonery.
and also Seth only lasts like 20 seconds. So how did you last 1 minute before? Like
Yeah.
someone to make that make sense. Like
So we get a
imply
returning
logic.
when the when the ref was bumped, right? We got a ref bump, right? Or something.
There was something, yeah.
Yeah, and we get a returning Braun Breaker who absolutely crushes Seth with a spear.
And did you see Seth get hit by the spear? Like with your eyes?
No.
Okay. Well, yes, you did.
No,
First of
well, the
all,
second one for sure he missed.
yeah. Well, Braun Breaker also landed directly on his head on the first spear, and I was like, oh my God, he's injured again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why he has to do that thing where he's like trying to show how athletic he is. Like,
And
just
roll.
spear the guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't it's so extra. But there was a few things here. By the way, I forgot to talk about this.
Hmm.
In the first match of the night, at that when the match is over and the heels, the faces come back to help
Yeah.
I show speed. They do a 1D and I don't know who does the catching. Is it Jimmy or Jay?
I think it's Jay, I think.
Whoever.
Or Jimmy,
Not
Jimmy.
doesn't even make contact with him.
No.
So this is his head, and he goes all the way by him, and then he just hits the ground. They didn't even
Yes.
touch him. He missed him completely.
It was
Did not even
poorly
touch him.
poorly timed.
It
Yeah.
was funny. It was funny. And
But
But yeah, so the second one kind of didn't really hit, but it doesn't matter. You watch with your eyes him get speared 2 times.
Yes.
So why on the announce team did I need you to keep telling me that Seth Rollins is injured because he just got speared by Braun Breaker? I don't know if you saw it, but Breaker speared him. That's why he's hurt in his
Oh,
midsection.
I thought you meant the physical
No,
contact
but
of the
I'm
spear.
just
Yeah,
saying
but yeah,
generally you saw it. Everyone saw it.
yeah.
Why do I need you to keep telling me for the next 2 minutes that he got speared by Braun Breaker?
Because they're hyping up Braun Breaker's return.
That's not hyping him up. You're just
No.
annoying the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But this
But
match was good, okay? I don't know why I'm
the match
upset.
in terms of the match was excellent. Probably one of the better matches on the card.
It
Probably
was
one of the best
no, it was not even close the
post.
best match on the
Yeah,
card.
yeah. But it only lasted 15 minutes. With that, we are getting Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer.
Not poorly worked, but just the absolute disrespect to the women's division with this
Yeah,
match.
because the match itself in the ring, this was probably, and you know me, I'm not the biggest Liv fan, but she actually worked well in this match.
Yeah, like we talked about, I've never not been a fan of her. I think the story work with her is straight up garbage.
Garbage.
She's very pretty and she has a capable wrestling like ability. She also came from being like such like a underdog to
Yeah.
doing what she did. And I know none of you guys liked her in the beginning, but it's just like watching them do this match and like the main
I
you
still don't like her as a character. It's just I'm
fair.
not going to deny she's capable in the ring.
It's
I'm
fair.
still not a fan.
You took what we arguably said was probably the women's wrestler of the year, one of the years where we did the thing,
Hmm.
or very close to it. She's one of the best women's wrestler period in the world.
Yep.
You took Liv Morgan, who's one of the hottest like commodities in wrestling right now, and you took 30 seconds away of focus from the match because you decided to have an upskirt shot of Roxanne Perez for
Hmm.
no reason, which WWE literally cut and posted just that as a short on their page. Like, how
Yeah.
ridiculous are we getting? That's how desperate we're getting
Oh, and
for
and
views.
a side boob of Raquel.
Do you get what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
Like, if you she's very pretty. That's great. If you want to show clips of your match, but if you're so desperate for views that you're just clipping out a scene of someone's ass to show it on your page, it's like that. When or what kind of desperation are we
It
at?
gets the views from non-wrestling people too, right? It gets the views from people like Putty.
Yeah, but I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just like there's a clear
Yeah.
evidence of what you're doing.
Yeah. But Liv Morgan does win in here it says it was 9 minutes, but it was less than 9 minutes
It
this
was
match.
6 minutes. It
Yeah.
was 6 minutes and like 7 seconds.
Yeah.
And we saw a graphic. I believe, did you send it to me? Somebody sent me a graphic of like every women's wrestling match that was longer in the last couple of days.
No,
Then
that wasn't me, but yeah.
I'll see if I can find it. But you keep doing
Yeah,
talking
but
things.
I'll keep talking on this one. And so our theory now behind this is where I was going to say with this is I've noticed with AAA, Undertaker is running AAA right now. He's doing the booking. He's the one who's in charge of the WWE talent in AAA,
Yeah,
and he's pilfering the mid card division right now. That's why WWE's mid card is absolutely in the tank. It's because you got Chelsea Green down there. You have like the War Raiders down there. You have all these like good mid carders in AAA. My thought behind this is either Stephanie is hurt and they punked her out, or Triple H doesn't care about the main roster anymore, and he's focusing on Triple H with the AAA and the Undertaker because his hands are tied on the main roster. That he's going to try to turn AAA into like the next NXT, and Stephanie Vaquer is going to go down there to AAA and knock off Flamer
okay.
as the Reina's champ.
And what is she very capable of doing, considering it's Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking that
Spanish.
language, and what is she not capable of doing? Very speaking English. And like I told you, there's been a very big online backlash of like people getting tired of her already, even though they think she's hot and she's a good wrestler because she can't cut promos. So they want Liv Morgan back. That's why we got Liv Morgan back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that logic is. I can't find it,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
was a whole list of every match. They was saying that just the pre-show match at
The Willow Camille match.
the Willow Camille match, no, the tag match
Oh, yeah.
on the pre-show
Was longer than this.
was longer than every women's match on this show. The
Yeah,
tag, the one with Maya World and
the Ladies of Destiny or whatever they're
is that
called.
what it's called?
I don't know what they're called, but Megan Bain and Lena
Yeah.
Cross. I was gonna say
Anywho,
Lena Horne, the famous jazz musician.
anywho, they're also this is another graphic that we saw. Looking for it. Sorry, I closed it. So in 210-day title reign, she had
Mhm.
4 matches against Raquel and a 7-minute WrestleMania defense. That was what her
Yeah, her
title
reign
reign
is
was.
4
Um,
matches against Raquel. Holy jeez. But Liv Morgan is your new champ.
it's not a bad match. It's just
No,
completely disrespectful when you have over an hour of commercials, but you couldn't give this match
if you
5 more
gave
minutes.
every match on this card, other than the main event, an extra 2 to 3 minutes, fantastic.
And it's starting to get to me, and I think most of my frustration stems from the House of Torture. But it's like when you are facing a heel team where you know they're going to come out with multiple people and they're always doing the heel tactics,
Get
why
bring
don't you come
backup.
out with somebody,
Bring
especially for
backup.
a title match at WrestleMania?
Oh, don't forget 2 defenses against Nikki Bella. All right.
It's
But
I
going on.
just I'm very shocked at the
Yeah.
handling of this situation.
So at this point, it's only 10 minutes to 9.
There was 35 minutes between.
This and the ringing of the bell.
And someone
Um,
was saying if you took the first 3 matches of the night combined was less than the time gap between
yeah.
the main event and the co-main event.
Oh, and shout out, JJ was with us at the with us, and he even said right when they panned out the camera, he said Braun Breaker's coming back to get speared, to spear Seth. And sure enough, as soon as he said that, Braun Breaker came out. So
There you
shout out
go.
to JJ for calling that out right away. But would be remiss if I didn't mention that to him. So Wheatley Vodka gets their own intro because it's Cody's vodka,
Yeah,
so
of course.
has to get it. They get their own entrance. Pat McAfee gets his own entrance. Why?
If you do you know that in the amount of time that they count for this match counts
The
everything,
entrances.
count including them standing in the ring,
Hmm.
including the Pat McAfee shit that happens at the
Because
beginning.
I timed the matches myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long was this
That
match actually?
this match actually was about maybe 17 minutes.
Yeah, and they say that it was like 28 minutes.
22 because 5 of those 17 minutes, I count it from bell to bell. And bell to bell was about 17 minutes. I don't count any of the outside buffoonery as part of the match,
It's
whereas
not.
people count that as part of the match. But Pat McAfee, another 20 minutes, gets his own entrance. Randy Orton took the slowest walk down the ramp.
I think that really bothered me about a lot of the entrances, especially because, like, for the most part, I
Liv
know,
Morgan's Britney Spears entrance there.
yeah, I'm not a fan of his song. I think his song is absolute garbage. I'm just not a Randy fan generally, but that has nothing to do with my feelings towards the song.
Let us know if you want to see an episode with the goated wrestling theme songs.
We should, but I dragging out these entrances, especially when the entrances are not anything special and the songs that they have aren't like Chris Jericho's song everybody's singing or something like that, or
Yeah.
Naito holding his entrance forever. Do you know, like, or
Yeah.
people all singing along to Seth's song? It's just to me like, why are we having you take this long to
Or
get to the ring?
Kazenina Ray.
Yeah. Why am I having you
Yeah.
take this long to get to the ring? I
Yeah.
don't need to.
Well, people sing along with Seth's song, and his entrance was less than Randy's.
People sing to Randy's song. It's just a
Yeah.
really bad song.
Because he doesn't like that song either. Originally, he wanted the one CM Punk was using before Cult of Personality.
The
This
Ring of
Fire
Honor song?
Burns. I think it was Avenged Sevenfold or something.
Oh no, I'm what's the Ring of Honor song he had and they use it at AEW.
I
It's
can't
just like a
remember.
guy screaming the whole time.
Yeah,
Anyways,
but
well, that's neither here nor theirs.
neither there. Then we get Cody Rhodes. We get the whole like, oh, this is him as dashing Cody Rhodes. We didn't get the mustache Cody Rhodes though,
No, which is crazy.
but we got Stardust.
Yeah.
And then he was gone for 10 years, and all of a sudden he's back at WrestleMania.
Multiverse?
Multiverse, exactly. But yeah, then Cody Rhodes makes at least Good. I like the little tribute to his brother. The yellow on his jacket was the same yellow that Goldust used to use when he first started in WWE. That same golden yellow.
Why do I remember Goldust wearing a blue outfit when he first came out?
He did wear blue when he was the artist formerly known as Goldust.
Mm,
But yeah, he did wear a blue one once though.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. I remember him showing up on Raw when they had it at the Hammerstein Ballroom and he
Yeah.
had the Raw thing and he was
And he
wearing like
was
a
with
baby blue
the
outfit.
blue with the white fur.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. But we get
Hammerstein or Hammerstein?
the Hammerstein.
Okay.
I call it the Hammerstein Ballroom. But here's the stipulation of this match. If Orton were to lose, Pat McAfee would leave pro wrestling permanently,
Oh no! Not
which
Patrick McAfee, who didn't
which
even
led
want
us
to
to
come
believe
back.
that Orton was going to win this match.
Listen, people forget that TKO is in bed with ESPN
Hmm.
and Pat McAfee is contracted to ESPN, who's working with WWE, and he
Hmm.
basically had no choice but to come back. So you got to stop hating on the guy for coming back.
No, I'm
He did
not.
not
And you know
want to
what?
come back.
I'll be fair. He knew how to garner heat in this match. He said, you know what? He said, to hell with it. I'm going to make them absolutely hate me.
I'm going to be gone forever. Thank you. I'll do whatever you guys want. Watch me
Yeah.
create heat. And he did it.
Yeah. Like, so we get outside tomfoolery, we get outside shenanigans, we get all kinds of chaos in this match. And then the match
Fucking cinnamon roll comes in and fucking does a
cinnamon roll.
thing.
Yeah, cinnamon roll. And because the match hadn't started yet, he can do that,
Hmm.
right? But he did it to Pat McAfee, so it doesn't really matter. They stretch her out, Pat McAfee. I like the thumbs up that I'm okay, and then just like
Yeah, but
to the crowd.
it's
That was
like,
good.
it's mind boggling that even if he wasn't in wrestling shape,
Yeah.
you what did Pat McAfee do? Did he do any actual wrestling? Not
No.
really.
He took a couple hits.
Why would it not be Ted DiBiase Jr.? In what fucking world you signed Brock Lesnar back, the
Yep.
PP guy?
Yeah.
You talked about Vince
The pee
McMahon
pee
at the
poo poo
Hall of
man.
Fame and everybody cheered. You built a statue of super racist asshole Hulk Hogan,
Hulk
but
Hogan.
you couldn't bring Ted DiBiase back, who got like acquitted of all his fucking crimes.
Fraud charges. Yeah.
That would have made so much sense for the story at the biggest stage. You
Yep.
called Pat McAfee. Why didn't you just call Danhausen?
It would have made more sense. Hey, he got his blimp.
Shout out to the blimp.
Shout out to the blimp. But this match, the crowd was absolutely dead.
Well, it was
Like,
a slow, boring pay-per-view. The entire pay-per-view is
yeah,
so boring. This match is so supremely boring that I almost wanted to go back and rewatch the Becky Lynch match. The
that
first chunk
bad.
of this match, nothing happens. There's nothing that happens here. I know
No,
we talked about this. And then your opinion, which is good, you said that you think the second half of the match was better. For me, I just thought it was a clusterfuck of like, how can we make this cool? Let's both
yeah,
bleed.
yeah,
Um, I'll do a jump off the rope for no reason, and
yeah.
then
So
you'll
I can get
do
RKO'd.
so I can get RKO'd because when you watch the angle of it, he wasn't going to do anything with that anyways. What was the
No,
point of it?
yeah. This and then we get the ref bump. Pat McAfee comes out and he's,
I love Randy going full heel Randy and just saying
yeah,
fuck it, I'm going to RKO everybody. He
yeah.
RKO's the
The
running
ref,
out. He Pat McAfee comes out to help him. He RKO's Pat McAfee.
yeah,
Like, congrats. I love that. That was awesome. But then it
yeah.
became like not having him win makes no sense.
No, and the internet is divided over this. There's people that absolutely love this, and there's people that absolutely hate this.
And I think, but there's also apparently a huge internal backlash from WWE because they didn't like how the fans were reacting to things. They didn't like that they cheered the Bellas. They didn't like that they cheered Randy
Randy
Orton.
Orton.
They didn't like that they kept cheering Randy Orton after at the match.
That's why
Um,
Randy Orton went to a business for himself and RKO'd
yeah,
Pat McAfee after. So Randy Orton loses. So Cody is still your champ, which makes absolutely no
it's
sense.
2026. People don't need to just cheer faces anymore, and WWE needs to get over that. And they also need to realize that your crowd was you siphoning out all of the real fans and just having nothing but social media people and rich people that could afford to come to the
Yeah.
show. You didn't have the real WWE fans. It was quiet. It felt like a Saudi Arabia show, when they just fucking and nobody's
Yeah.
making noise.
And this year, where were all the hip hop stars? No Wale, no Waka Flocka this year, no Two Chains, no West Side Gun. Like none of these guys were
Because
there.
they were all at the New York Knicks game. The New York Knicks game was so full of celebrities yesterday, and the LA Lakers game,
Lakers?
crazy. Nobody was going to wrestling tonight.
Yeah. Like
Maybe
all
Sunday night.
Yeah, but like all the guys that normally, like all those hip hop stars and musicians and all that show. Yeah, you kept showing Greg Kittle like down beers. The only, and I'm
Well, he
surprised
he
this
wrestled
Greg Kittle. Where? On
at
the Effie show?
GCW
The spring break, the Joey Janela
Spring
spring.
Breakers
Okay.
or whatever it's
I
called.
might watch that one just to watch it. That and Effie's Super Big Gay Brunch or whatever it's called.
Can I ask you a
That'll
question?
probably be better than this.
Well, actually, we're gonna review it, so I won't ask you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
continue.
We go. So Randy Orton loses. Pat McAfee is going to leave WWE for good. Thank you, baby Jesus. Um, he RKO's, and he's the one who stands tall at the end of Mania because the crowd was upset that Cody won. So Orton went into business for himself because he knew that if he were the one to stand tall, at least the crowd would cheer. And that's what you want at the end of your show. You want the crowd to cheer.
I think they called an audible in the ring to do that.
You think so? But
Yeah.
that had to have been Randy that did that.
It's possible because I don't know if you saw it. There was a few times where Randy took a bump and then he would like yell. He would put a hand on his mouth and yell to Cody, or he would. There was one time where he
Yeah.
called the ref over and he told the ref something.
Yeah.
Like he was clearly like, we need to change this match fast because like the crowd
We're
is
losing
not
it.
into
We're
it.
losing it. Yeah. Especially if Cody had to win.
The crowd WWE is losing Cody with the audience.
Yeah.
Like
There's Cody. The Cody fatigue is setting in hard right
because
now.
every match is the same goddamn match. They're so boring. Do you
Yeah.
know how excited I am to watch Roman versus CM Punk compared to what this was? Because I just feel like they're both dastardly guys and some
Yeah.
kind of shenanigans are going to happen that's going to be crazy.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It's hard to score this one because the entertainment wise, I had fun with it.
Just score from your heart.
7.
Jesus Christ. 5.5.
Really, eh?
Fuck. What? Name me the most memorable part of this show. I show speed,
Seth versus Gunther.
not the match. Tell me something memorable that happened in the Gunter match.
The spear.
The spear. Tell me something memorable that happened in the women's tag match.
Move. You know what?
Paige came out.
Yeah. You know what? Thinking
That
about
that's my
it.
point. Like Jeremy made
I'm
such a good point to me. Shout out to Jeremy. He's like,
yeah.
he went through every match. Like, tell me the thing you remember. The first match, what do you remember? I show speed jumping off
It's
the
yeah,
thing.
right. It's not the matches, it's the things that happen afterwards.
It's like what was the thing? What
The
was the most
vi the
memorable part of the
viral
main event?
everything was built around viral moments.
Yeah, it's just they're trying to constantly sell you. I mean, the AJ Lee match didn't have any.
No, but you know what? You're right. I'm taking a full point off of this one. It's a 6.
I mean, no, you can't go that low.
No,
You were so
no, I'm
high.
taking now that I think about it, like it for me, I thought a 7 because I was having fun with everybody, but then going back and actually thinking
Yeah,
about it,
it's the event that's fun. When you look
yeah,
at what we had, okay, you had multiple AEW, multiple MLP, multiple New Japan shows, multiple NXT shows,
that
even
were
the
better
Royal
than this.
Rumble that were all like, wow, how excellent was this? And then you're watching the biggest show in all. This is like the Super Bowl, and it was dog shit.
WWE shit their pants.
Yeah, it was like, what am I watching?
Yeah,
Night two, and I still think on paper the card is great, and
yeah,
but it has a lot to do to make up for this one.
yeah. Now I'm going into night 2 with negative connotations on it.
I mean, it could be great. Like I said, the card looks phenomenal, but is it
Yeah.
going to be good? Let's see.
Well, we'll find out tonight. So make sure you watch the review before you watch WrestleMania Night 2. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow, Campo and I will have our review of WrestleMania Night 2. Hopefully it's better than Night 1. And we'll also have Death Vegas Invitational and MLP later for you this week. So make sure you stay tuned for that with the bell notifications turned on so you don't miss a single wrestling review. So with that out of the way, in the words of Kenny Omega, who probably would have saved this show, goodbye. and good night.